The story is about 30-year-old Brandon, who is a corporate guy by profession and lives a normal life like everyone else. But there are some pages in his life's book that are making him hollow. Brandon was a sex addict, and whenever he didn't get a chance to be intimate with someone, he would start masturbating. He hasn't been doing this for just the past few days, but for years, and now these things have taken over his mind. At first, he kept these things limited to his home, but now he has started doing it at the office as well. During working hours, he watches adult videos and masturbates right there. He would look at the girls he worked with in a very bad way. But one day, his 24-year-old sister, Sissy, Linda, came to live with him in his apartment, after which things happened that even Brandon had never imagined. While he was returning home from the office, a girl was looking at him for quite a while in the metro. Brandon also noticed this, but after some time, the girl realized that his intentions were not right because he started becoming quite aggressive. So as soon as the next stop came, the girl got off, but Brandon even followed her, but she got lost in the crowd. Every night he would go to clubs where he would talk to girls and flirt with them. And if he didn't get satisfaction from them, he would call prostitutes. Even after that, sometimes he couldn't stop himself from masturbating. Every morning he would masturbate before brushing his teeth and then think about those same things all day long. This had become his daily routine. His boss, David, was not just his boss, but also a good friend of his, which is why they often went to clubs together. For example, today, after a meeting, they both went to a famous club in New York. There, some girls came to them and started talking. Among them, a girl named Marianne, who was very beautiful and also a banker, caught their attention. David thought she liked him because she was talking to him more, but later he realized that she liked Brandon. He didn't feel bad about it, but was actually happy. Actually, Brandon was only like that in his mind. Otherwise, his personality and way of talking were very gentlemanlike, which is why many girls were attracted to him. Later, he gets intimate with that girl, but when he returns home, his door's open. He thought someone might have broken into the apartment, so he immediately picked up a baseball bat and started moving inside slowly. With every step he took, he could hear a sound coming from the washroom. He realized someone was inside. He broke down the door and went in, but his younger sister, Sissy, Linda, was there. She was taking a bath, and he was surprised to see her there like that. When she came out, he asked why she had come there. Actually, Sissy had been trying to call him for a long time, but he wasn't picking up her calls because he felt that doing so would interfere with his personal life. The next day when he woke up, he heard the sound of her crying from Sissy's room. She is a singer and had been living in Los Angeles for many years, but last week she faced a huge loss, which is why she had to sell her house and her car. That is why she just needed to stay with Brandon for a few days until everything got better. But Brandon is worried because her staying here for many days is not good for him. When they were both having breakfast, Sissy asked for permission to stay for a few days, but Brandon refused. He said that there was only one room here and he couldn't afford the expenses of 2 people. Although this was a lie, he still said it so that she would leave. But later he agreed for the sake of his sister. Sissy looked happy, but there were things inside her that were trying to break her. We get a hint of this when she was at the station. She went and stood very close to the track, as if she was about to jump in front of the train as soon as it arrived. It was Brandon who came from behind and pulled her away, and then they had a conversation that made both of them laugh. Later, we saw that when Brandon reached the office, a girl named Marianne talked to him very nicely. She had liked him for a long time, but Brandon had never talked to her properly. Anyway, that evening, Sissy was going to perform in a club, so he and David both went to watch her performance. Sissy sang so well that tears came to Brandon's eyes. He knew what kind of troubles Sissy was going through. Her boyfriend had tried to beat her up several times and had taken all her money. He knew everything, but he never even tried to talk to her about it. When she sat at the table with them, David started flirting with her, which made him feel a bit uncomfortable, but he didn't say anything. Later, the two started kissing in the taxi, and Brandon felt very strange. They even got intimate in his apartment. When Brandon heard those sounds, he couldn't stay. So he went out for a walk. When he returned, they were both gone, so he removed the bedsheet and went to sleep. But after a while, Sissy came there and slept beside him, so Brandon screamed at her in anger and made her leave. The next day when he reached the office, he was very angry at David, but he couldn't say anything, even though he was his friend. First, he is his boss. During this, he talked to Marianne again, but this time too, he didn't show much interest, even though he liked her somewhere. Anyway, he goes home, but that night is still revolving in his mind. How could his own close friend do such a thing with his sister? Thinking about this, he gets worried. One day we saw him and Marianne out for dinner. Marianne had recently gone through a divorce and wanted to start a new life. Brandon also told her a lot about himself, like that the only family he had was his younger sister who was living with him, and she was an amazing singer. He praised her a lot, which clearly showed how much love he had for Sissy in his heart. After dinner, they both went for a walk. There too, Brandon made her very happy with his words, but today he didn't go home with her, neither to his nor hers, which was the first time with any girl. When he returned to his home, he immediately took off his clothes, went into the washroom, and started masturbating. Some time passed and he kept doing it. Meanwhile, Sissy came into the apartment. She also had keys, so she came inside and immediately entered the washroom, and seeing her brother in that condition, she closed the door out of shame and came out. Brandon felt very strange about what had happened. He wouldn't do this in front of his sister at least. He was angry at himself, but even more so at Sissy, which is why he went out and shouted at her a lot. At first, Sissy thought he was joking, but later she realized that he was hurting her. She started crying, so Brandon pulled back and locked himself in the washroom. Late at night, when Sissy got up to drink water, she saw that Brandon's laptop was open and he was chatting with a girl in a nude video chat. Suddenly, he came there, and this time his anger was at an extreme level because he felt that Sissy was starting to interfere in his things. He felt she just came to drink water, but Brandon thought something else. He said everything to her that he probably shouldn't have. He called his sister a whore, which was why her boyfriend used to beat her. Because she makes relationships with others, Sissy is completely broken. She picked up her clothes and left the apartment. Brandon felt very bad later that he shouldn't have said that. He is blaming others to hide his own bad habits, which he is anyway. Whatever happened today, he has started feeling disgusted with his own actions. So he throws away all those things in the trash that forced him to masturbate. He even threw away his laptop. The next day, he met Marianne, kissed her, and then they went to a hotel together where Brandon secretly took drugs, due to which he lost his senses and started doing weird things with Marianne, because of which she got annoyed and left. When Brandon regained consciousness later, he called a prostitute and got intimate with her, from which he got satisfaction. When he returned home after some time, Sissy came and sat next to him. She apologized for that day, saying that she would never interfere in his work again. But Brandon was still angry. He told her that he didn't know where she lived, whether she had a house to stay in or even money to eat, but now she would not stay in this house. Sissy felt very bad. She told him that they are brother and sister. She is his responsibility. After all, who else does she have in this world other than him? But Brandon said that she has become a burden on him, so it is better that she leaves this house and goes wherever she wants, as long as she stays away from his boss. Sissy was terrified hearing these things this time. Now she really has no one left. With whose support will she live? On the other hand, Brandon reached a bar in the middle of the night where a girl came up to him and started flirting. Brandon also started talking to her in the same way, but he had forgotten that the girl's boyfriend was also with her, who brought him outside and beat him up. Later, he even tried to go to another club, but he didn't get entry today. So he went to a gay club where he got physical with a guy. He was completely frustrated. He really didn't understand what he was doing or what all this was. What had he made of himself? He wanted to do something else, but his mind wasn't letting him do those things. All the time, those same things were revolving in his mind. On the other hand, Sissy tries to call him again and again, but every time he cuts her phone. At 5 o'clock in the morning, he went back to the house of two girls and got physical with both of them. But in the middle, tears came to his eyes, so he left everything and started coming back. Someone had committed today by jumping in front of a metro, so the passengers were dropped off there. Then suddenly a strange thought came into Brandon's mind, and he started running toward his apartment. With heavy breaths, he reached upstairs and started calling out, "Sissy, Sissy," loudly. Then he heard the sound of water dripping from the washroom, but it wasn't water, it was Sissy's blood. She had cut the nerves of her hand. Seeing his younger sister in such a condition, Brandon's heart was torn apart. He immediately called an ambulance. Tears were coming from his eyes because all this happened because of him, because of those habits of his. When Sissy was in the hospital, he saw many blade marks on her, seeing which he understood what things she had been going through until now. Outside, he went all alone and cried a lot, cursing himself in that heavy rain. He apologized to God, saying that from now on he would never get into those things again. This addiction had made him so useless that he wasn't able to feel any emotional connection. His sister was in so much pain, but it didn't make any difference to him because his mind was making him feel something else all the time. All the time his nerves were thinking about only those things that he liked, and he kept doing the same things again and again. Many years passed like this, and he became a pure addict, the result of which was standing in front of him today. But now enough is enough. He vowed that he would not make himself hollow like this. He would fill this dark life of his with light again and make a new beginning with his sister. A new day. Like every day, today too he is going to the office by train. A girl is looking at him repeatedly, but today Brandon doesn't even look at her, and the story ends with this scene.